is open at 7 p.m. It is being recorded, both audio and video, for cable broadcast and internet posting on Dayton.mass.gov. Would you please stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everyone had opportunity to view the minutes?
Yes.
Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes from November 17th.
Is there a second? Bill seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, before we begin the opening our hearings, I would like to make a statement. The Dayton Conservation Commission has been involved with the American Chestnut Foundation for reestablishing the American chestnut trees in Dayton. There are several trees around here at Town Hall. Last year was the first year that these trees produced viable nuts for redistribution to our community. Those nuts were started. We had the seedlings were begun and planted on conservation land this spring. They were all encased in wire baskets to protect them from animals. This fall, those trees were stolen from the town land, including the baskets, something that I find most reprehensible. If anyone in town knows anything about that, they should please call the conservation office. First, baskets.
How many?
Oh, I won't. I'll talk later. All of them.
All the ones behind your house?
No. These were the ones that were the stock from the trees that are growing out here
Okay. Where were they?
on the conservation land behind me.
Okay.
Okay, our first hearing is Long Built Homes, notice of intent of Hunter's Hill subdivision, SE 17-441.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, it's Evan Watson with W Engineering, representing the applicant, Long Bill Homes. Last time we were here, I think we had all of the commission's questions addressed, and we were asked to come back and make sure that everybody else's concerns were addressed. So we've since gotten approval from the planning board. Yesterday, we received approval from the Stormwater Committee. And tonight, I'm here to ask you to close the hearing and approve the set of plans and issue an order of conditions.
And Lisa has said that everything is in order. Is there a motion to close the hearing and issue an order of conditions? Okay, to close the hearing and issue, okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
I have the order here, if you guys want to sign it, but, so we're issuing it, but he's not picking up till next week because I don't have an extra copy.
I'll stick around until you sign it just to make sure.
Might as well, right? How many meetings? A lot.
I don't want to count.
Okay.
All right, thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, the second item on the agenda is DI Trust. This is DEP file number 17-443. DI Trust has requested a continuance until 12/15. Is there a motion to continue?
I make a motion, we continue DI Trust till December 15th.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Reed Brothers Farm Limited Liability, DEP file number 17-447. Outback Engineering has requested a continuance to 12/15/22. Is there a motion to continue this hearing?
Make a motion, we continue Reed Brothers till, December 15th.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's good. Here, these things.
Appreciate it.
Okay, next on the agenda is an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for the Pleasant, 0 Pleasant Street and 0 Main Street. It was filed by Zeneca Incorporated and Geotechnical Consultants, DEP file number 17-461, to confirm the jurisdictional boundaries of the bordering vegetated wetland, the IVW, salt marsh bank, and riverfront area. This is, it has been requested a continuance, this had been requested to be continued to today. Lisa, are we all set with this?
Yeah, I would like, LEC to present their findings and data. But these are the most recent ANRAD plans here. I don't know which size you want. Yes,
Okay.
I can use two if you'd rather.
Okay, you're on.
All right, for the record, my name is Claire Hogebaum with LEC Environmental Consultants. Joining me is Stan Bordeaux with Geosyntec, who prepared the plans for the ANRAD application. We were last before the commission in July, so it's been quite a while since we've seen you all. And since that meeting, the commission retained Beta to perform the peer review of the wetland resource area boundaries. So just a really quick review of the site to remind everybody of what we're working with here. We have 3 commonly owned parcels by Zeneca, the applicant, 2 of which are between Elm Street and County Street, and 1 is between County Street and Pleasant Street here. The 2 parcels between Elm and County Street have more of the inland resource areas, bordering and isolated vegetated wetlands, bank and mean annual high water associated with a perennial stream, the riverfront area, bank to a pond in the central portion of the site here. And the floodplain is located virtually on the whole property as well. The parcel between Pleasant and County Street is more of a tidally influenced area. We have the tidally influenced portion of the perennial stream, Muddy Cove Brook in that area. No, Muddy Cove is in that area. I always get those mixed up. But we have that stream in here. The mean annual high water and mean high water boundary associated with that, which projects the 200-foot riverfront area on that portion of the site. We have salt marsh on that site as well, and then through the review with Beta, determined that there's some fringing bordering vegetated wetlands to that salt marsh as well. And we also have floodplain on that property as well. So since July and since Beta was retained, LEC met with Beta on site a few times to review all of the wetland boundaries on site. They had a couple of flag revisions for us that we agreed with. So since we made those flag revisions together in the field, the surveyor mobilized on site to locate all of those flags. So that's all shown on the revised plans. Beta also provided some comments that were more administrative and just things to revise on the plans, such as source material from the survey, data, and just consistency with plan labeling and a few other comments on the plans that we all agreed with as well. So we had a few letters back and forth, but ultimately the most recent letter Beta issued on November 8th. We have no comments remaining for that. We agree with their comments, we agree with their findings and recommendations, and we really thank them for their time on it because it was not an easy site to get around. So I think with that, happy to pass it back to you guys.
Okay. Alicia, we're all set with this now.
Yeah. John is here from Beta. I just was hoping, if he wanted to go over what his last recommendations were. Yeah, there's just 3. Again, this is just so everybody in the audience is familiar with what's happening is Zeneca came to the commission a few months ago requesting that we approve a delineation, meaning a wetland boundary for the site, and it's a big site with many resources. So that's what the commission is, that's the only thing that's before us right now.
And I do actually, since before we pass it on to John, I did just want to point out there are a few properties between Pleasant Street and County Street here on the southern side of Muddy Cove Muddy Cove, sorry, that are privately owned. We didn't obtain access to those properties, so whatever's on the plan is shown as approximate for those properties, and we're not requesting approval of any boundaries that are located off-site.
Good evening. Jonathan Nero, environmental scientist with Beta Group, performed the peer review on this project. I first would definitely echo what Claire said. This was quite a difficult site, but interesting site to get around. And we did things a bit differently in that we actually spent basically the entirety of our review with LEC in the field to actually help us navigate around and also discuss some of their methodologies. A lot of the wetlands at the site, there are a lot of very easily definable streams and wetlands. However, there were a lot of wetlands interior to the site within these formerly disturbed industrial areas where we actually saw wetlands essentially reforming over concrete surfaces. So it was very interesting, but it was helpful to be with LEC in the field and discuss their methodology. We agreed with how they approached the site as a whole. Like Claire mentioned, there were some minor flagging revisions in the field, as well as once some missing flags were replaced, we went back out and confirmed those as well. Our plan revisions, again, were largely administrative. One of the bigger items was accurately mapping the floodplain at the site by the published elevation by FEMA, as well as adding the high tide line to the plans so that the coastal resource area boundaries of salt marsh could be accurately depicted and confirmed. So in our very last letter, our most recent letter, we did have a couple of recommendations for findings. One of them Claire just mentioned, just a finding that there were some approximated resource areas on the plan that could not be approved, that the applicant understands. And another finding recommendation being that, within a lot of these wetland complexes at the site, we found a number of, small intermittent stream networks, sort of resource areas within wetlands that weren't explicitly flagged but are there, and the applicant understands that and isn't requesting any confirmation down to that level of specificity. And we had also recommended a finding that the commission just recognized in this ORAD that the floodplain is accurately mapped at the site per current data, but in the future, if FEMA were to ever do a new study and modify the limits of the floodplain, that would supersede anything approved under this ORAD. Other than that, LEC has, both them and the surveyors and Geosyntec, as well as the applicant, have all worked to address all of our comments. It was a pleasure performing the review, and I have questions if you have them, or I can answer questions if you have them.
When you did borings, of course, that area, I can remember it 50, 60 years ago when it was all muddy.
Yes.
And of course, a lot of that has been filled. I guess the state just required it to be filled to encapsulate it that way. You didn't get into that at all. It was just, you just did the boundaries.
Right, we just did boundaries, and we did poke around soils a bit. Obviously, nature of the site, we had to be a little careful with poking around, but there were a lot of indicators at the site that were visible above ground, clear water staining, limits of ponded water, vegetation that was emerging from the site lying dormant for so long. So actually, nature sort of has taken back the site over the years, and it made some of these disturbed areas a little easier to distinguish.
No green, red, or blue pools?
No.
Okay.
Excuse me, you were a little too quick for me with your name and I didn't get it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan Nero with Beta Group.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions for them?
No.
Is there a motion to accept the delineation and issue an order of resource area delineation?
Absolutely.
Bill made the motion.
I'll second it.
Can't David do some seconding?
He
No, he's
can't.
still can't yet. All in favor? Aye. Okay. You're all set.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you, Lisa.
Take care. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Thanks. You too.
Okay.
Just need a large one. Maybe sheet one.
Yeah, I need to.
Just look at sheet one, the large one. Actually, it's sheet two. I'll live without it. I got this one. As long as I have a small copy. I just need one of those small copies back.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation by Leopold Speck on 1130 Briggs Street. Lisa, would you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so, Beta did the review on that, ANRAD, and we subbed it out to Beta. I'm sorry. We subbed it out to Beta, for review. Beta reviewed it, and I guess because the owner is in Austria, there was some miscommunication between the owner and the owner's representative, and he didn't fund the account properly. So Charlie's been speaking with them, and now that should be funded by Monday. on or before Monday. Therefore, they can come to our next meeting too. They've
Okay,
requested
so-
a continuance.
So we will continue this hearing until December, I believe.
December 15th.
December 15th.
There was some back and forth between Beta and Holmgren, I believe, as far as what needs to happen out there, and they need to meet with the wetland scientist on
They need to
site.
revise the plan
Yes.
they submitted.
Okay, so, is there a motion to continue the hearing until December, what's the date, December what?
15th.
15. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion, we continue, inspect this project till, 15th of December.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Okay, now we have a notice of intent by Matthew Matozo on Cedar Street, file number 17-463. Okay,
Evening, John D'Souza. So, for our last meeting, we had gone out there. We reviewed the wetland flags to make sure that they were per plan, and they were labeled as such, and they are. We had gone, and I walked the line the last time and emailed over to Lisa to see if I could meet with herself and maybe a couple of members out there, but I didn't get a response to it.
when did you email?
I believe that was like over a week and a half ago or so.
It was last Thursday. We were out on a holiday.
Because I never got any email on that.
I went to Lisa and then she
Okay.
replied.
So she would have gotten it on Monday.
She replied and then I replied to her as well on it.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I mean, I really want to get this moving one way or another. So, I'm at the point that, you know, I just want the commission to vote on it, regardless.
Now, okay, so did you stake the 25-foot no-touch zone?
No.
Well, that was one of the items that was requested of you to stake the 25-foot no-touch zone. Did you give additional restoration for the area that has been disturbed?
We had talked about adding some more the plants on there.
We talked about it, but we
Yep.
don't have anything in writing on how much.
Nope.
There was something that I had seen about the riding rink.
Yeah, so
And it's,
the riding rink is actually, when he constructed it, it's actually where it's shown, proposed on the location that's on our plan.
Was that to be moved to another
The
location?
location that's shown on our plan that says to be moved is actually where he built it. It's built at that location.
Wait a minute, I'm confused. You said to be moved, and then you said it's built.
When he constructed the riding rink, he had constructed to our proposed location already, not the previous location that was originally shown way back. So the ring is in the location as per plans where it says the proposed location.
Is the rink in the buffer zone?
When did he move the ring?
The ring, I believe it was moved, I want to say, was just after we took over the project, so it would have
Why
been.
is he doing any work?
He was,
He shouldn't be doing any work in the buffer zone without our approval. I don't understand.
well, it's an active home site. It has been ever since he moved there. It's been an
What would
active
be-
home
what
site.
would be
Everybody
involved
knows it.
in removing the rink? You just pick up the fence and you move?
No, he's actually got the posts in.
The what?
ground. He's actually got posts in the ground.
Is this in the buffer zone?
The rink is, I believe a small portion of it is within the Route 25 feet, not much of it.
Oh, it's in the 25-foot no-touch zone.
It
Yeah.
was in the wetland.
It was moved out, so it got
But,
pushed back.
Wait a minute, moving it out to another wetland location,
Well, a 25-foot buffer zone is not a wetland location.
our bylaw says it's not to be touched. And so he moved it from one area which is prohibited to another area which is prohibited. That doesn't sound very,
The first prohibition of the rink was already there before your buffer zone even came into play. Because as I shown in those photographs that was presented to the commission, that was there long before your 25-foot.
our 25-foot no-touch zone has been in effect for about 20 years.
Yeah, and this going back, that riding rink was there way before 20 years ago.
But the point is, he went in and moved it while we were meeting to discuss the violations on the property
But at the
without our permission.
But at the same time, it's an active yard. It's like any homeowner going to cut a piece of grass.
No,
Yes, it is.
it's
Because,
structure.
There's filling involved, there's,
No, there's no the film involved.
It's a fence.
It's a,
no, but the animal's gonna be running in.
No,
No.
what is it made of? It's filled with something.
Well, that's
no,
what-
it's
that's what
a
we
ground, the ground that's there. There's no
they moved it from the wetlands to the
filler
buffer
material there. It's ground.
More
It's
of
It's
a-
still in the-
defense.
It's still in the buffer zone, in the 25-foot no-touch.
But it's been there before your 25-foot no touch.
It was. It's been there a long time.
Work, even if it's restoration, that's why we have him before us, within the buffer zone is regulated by us. So even if it's within the yard, that site has a notice of violation. So we wrote a notice to Mr. Matoso a year and a half ago that he is to stop all work and come to us so we can come up with a plan of restoration.
Is that what you're doing?
We want to restore per our plan. At the same time, you got to understand that this has been a home site for many years, even before the Wetlands Protection Act came into play.
Lisa,
There was a cranberry bog on the property. This riding rink was there way before you even thought of a 25-foot no-touch zone, and it's been there. And it's like any other homestead here in the town. It's been maintained as that, and it still is being maintained. Plain and simple. I mean, I shown the commission photographs of that site going way back when that was actively being used.
Can I say something? Right, but the paddock and the riding rink are considered fill, and fill carries on.
How is it considered fill when it's a fence?
It carries on with the new owners.
How is it considered fill if it's a fence? Fence is not considered
We
fill.
we need to look at it a little further in the field, apparently.
you know, it's unfortunate that you notified us so late because,
A week's notice is good for, I mean, you know, Thursday was considered a holiday, because Friday was a holiday, as you know.
Well,
So
I was
Thursday-
working, so I wouldn't know,
Thursday was a
unfortunately.
holiday, so I didn't get the
Town
message till
holiday.
Monday.
I give 4 holidays a year, so.
The guy that built that house,
Municipalities are different.
Yeah.
and he built it a long, long time ago.
So,
Did he have horses? Did he do all the paddock and all that?
His name was-
Lisa?
Yeah.
Is it possible to write all the changes we wish in the orders?
no, the plan the plan as shown to us, the most recently one presented to us, it shows, so now we know he's moved, so he's done additional work beyond what we already discussed at the beginning of this, a year and a half. Yes, the addition is it's permittable, okay? The addition that he's proposing is permittable, but to meet the performance standards of the bordering vegetated wetland restoration, you have to actually propose plantings and restoration that's gonna work and result in 75% coverage of wetland. In 2 years, you can't tell me 29 blueberry bushes is gonna give him 75% coverage of that wetland, if you've seen it. And I understand a lot of this alteration is not his, but we need to come to a happy median. Like,
And this is what I had presented last month, is we understand that the 29 blueberry bushes is, not the greatest
you
vegetative cover,
haven't
but at the
given-
same time.
But you
if
haven't
you
given
let-
us a plan to say, this
I have.
this is what I'm going to do. Well, I saw something and it had 29 bushes scattered
And then I
through
also,
7,000 square feet.
and I also stated that he would allow that area to naturally revegetate, which
Okay,
it will.
I think that
Within
sounds
2
great.
years, it'll be basically almost like any other wetland there is.
but what you have to understand, if there's any fill in there at all, it's not gonna vegetate into the wetland that we want.
Okay,
I've monitored acres and acres of wetlands to know that it's not gonna succeed to the standards of the performance standards in the Wetlands Protection Act. It's going to be weedy, it's not gonna, it's not gonna thrive. So if we wanna really restore it, we have to plant a
well,
little
there's good, he
diversity.
has to plant more than that,
And
but we don't have a
diversity.
plan for it.
Right.
We don't have a plan for what, you can say, I'm gonna do more. Well, 30 would be more. Okay, what we're gonna look for is some hard numbers, more locations, and I think that we could be good to go after that.
We need the 25-foot staked, and we need more plantings, and I need to know, sheet 2 specifically, shows a detail for trees, but there's no trees proposed.
No, that was when that detailed sheet was actually made, that the tree detail came from another plan, so that should not have been on that sheet.
Okay, you see where we get confused? You're giving us sheets that
Yeah,
shouldn't be there. We get
The
emails that say
detail
one
of a
thing.
tree that has no bearing on that. I mean, listen,
Okay.
from an engineering point of
We
view.
want to give you an order of conditions, okay? We want to give you an order of conditions, but we need some drawings or that's going to show us with accuracy how many, where, and make sure that the,
Well, as far as the how many and where, you can put that into an order of conditions. It happens all over the state.
I'm not gonna specify that he plants hundreds of plants that I think he should plant unless I know he's going to do it.
Well, if you're looking for hundreds of plants, that ain't gonna happen either.
Well, the density, if you look at the density charts for something like this, even if you planted them 10 feet on center, you're talking well more than 100, and,
Well-
it needs to be more than just
The-
Vaccinium corbosa.
The issue that I have is that this has been
I know,
an
I
active
know, I'm trying to
house
get-
site and that area was previously used. So now you're asking us to stop utilizing an area that was previously used. That's what you're doing. So you're basically doing what's known as a constitutional taking for part of his land. That's exactly what you're doing. And if that's what you're doing, then I suggest that you just vote no and we handle matters from a legal point.
Well, a legal point would be to,
Well, a legal point would be going through the Superior Court and the DEP, and also when we go through the Superior Court, we would also sue as well. So,
but be aware that DEP would then stick straight to their,
I know exactly how they work.
Okay,
I'm
all
very
right.
familiar with them, and
and-
if I
and
don't like
again-
your answer, I can
and-
bring them to Winter Street up in Boston. It wouldn't be the first time.
and again, what I had said, we are looking forward to giving you that order of conditions. But we're just looking at some accurate information
So
on,
what do you want for
Numbers.
plans? Let me ask you that.
We need a restoration plan that's gonna meet the performance standards. I am not going to draft that for you.
And I'm not gonna propose 75% coverage on an existing home site that's been in that condition for years before the Wetlands Protection Act even came into play.
Okay.
There's so you have to look at it this way. If we deny this,
Yep.
okay, and you appeal it,
Yep.
DEP's gonna come out and
Yep.
they're gonna see the violations. And then you're not only gonna have to,
Well, see, that's
Fix
where I strongly do not agree with that statement. Because and I will show them at that meeting on site, that this has been an active home site for eons. And if you show them it's an active home site for as long as it has been, before the Wetlands Protection Act even got enacted in 1975, they will not render anything other than you're allowed to utilize what you currently use. And I've proven that statement more than once in a lot of towns. So I'm ready to go there, and if I have to go that route, I will. But at the same time, I'm not gonna allow my client to give up his yard because of restoration
He's
that
not-
it has been utilized as a yard since the house was there.
he's not giving it up.
Yes,
We
he
want
is.
our 25-foot buffer zone back.
No, see, that's
He's
the
got a
problem.
huge lot. And
That's the
he's got
problem. The
piles of-
25-foot
he's got
buffer
piles
zone
of manure.
came into play after the house is built.
Okay, but he bought the problem. He bought the fill. The fill continues on with
He
the
bought the
buyer.
fill, and he's allowed, if you read the Wetlands Protection Act, it says that you are allowed to currently use the land that is currently available to that house. So that means he can utilize up to
How
that
about-
wetland line.
How about our local bylaw?
If that house exists, and you have not issued a violation in the past on that house, then there is no violation.
Oh, so maybe we need to issue an enforcement order after this meeting.
Violation against the previous,
Oh, you did.
and then
Yeah, you did.
previous homeowner.
Yep, they remember.
write in additional,
And we got no response from them, and then I think they sold it.
I know.
No, they did respond.
You did respond?
Yes, they hired a consultant and they made the restorations that we demanded.
Do you remember what they were?
No, I'd have to go on the computer. I can't remember what I ate yesterday. No, that was quite a while.
Okay,
But they did hire a consultant and they did satisfy the conditions of the enforcement order.
Okay.
That's all I can add. This has been a long journey.
It has.
okay,
The applicant hasn't been very cooperative. He's changed consultants,
Well,
dragged and dragged and dragged.
He
do
changed
have an
consultants
I
because
grew up to today.
he had hired another consultant that met with Lisa on the site, I don't know, 4, 5, half a dozen times.
No, twice, maybe.
Ms. Schmiel?
Twice, maybe.
Okay, that's not what he told me,
No.
but regardless, that's,
June 1st was the first time, okay? And then, June 16th, it was flagged. I have a timeline. April 23rd, it was surveyed. September 2nd, we had one more site visit. November 17th, Schmiel had an updated plan and narrative. We provided comments in December, January with an updated plan, and then next meeting, Concom meeting, he was fired. So we were so close to approving that plan.
Okay, then,
So we met twice on site.
okay, what I'm going to do is see if there is a motion to either accept or reject the plan. If it's accepted, you would have to write in a lot of these things in the order of conditions.
Well-
If rejected, it would have, then we would go the other route, an enforcement order, and it would go to DEP, assuming they appeal it.
Yeah, so I want to make a note, if it's accepted, what we could do is, we could accept the plan for the house and permit that, omit all the restoration, assuming he's gonna submit a revised plan to me, and at that point, we issue an enforcement order to get the violation taken care of.
So this will just continue on and on and on.
Apparently,
Sure.
oh, is there anyone out in the audience that has any?
Well, we'll get there.
So,
So if the commission is amendable to that, we'll go along with that. So we will, if the commission is amendable to,
Letting the apartment, a house addition go,
and then working on the restoration, the planting plan afterwards, yes.
but the deal is, we're gonna permit the house addition, but in the order, I'm gonna tell you, you cannot do that addition until you've satisfied the mitigation. So then we're back at square one.
So why would we do that?
I don't know, because you want us to
Lisa,
close.
okay. if-
Well, we can
if
close it
if
one
we
way or
give them
another.
permission for the house, I think was just to go and then an enforcement order on the rest, and he would have to deal with it. And then if in a certain amount of time it goes over to DEP, then DEP would take over restoration. But I would rather deal with it in-house. And I think what you really have to do is just develop a plan to restore the land as best as possible.
We also can't have two open orders with DEP, so we can't have an open order for an addition and an open order for a
Well,
restoration.
we'd close it. No, we'd close the addition.
Well, I'm not closing an addition with all these violations here, so if you wanna do that, you can write the whole thing, I'm not doing that.
You can do the violation under your local ordinance. You can issue an order conditions for the addition of the house, and you can keep the violation open under your order.
We don't have a violation right now, we just have a notice, because he's been
Right, but what I'm
cooperative.
saying is, if the commission would like to issue the order to let the addition go through, then you would issue an enforcement order to get the vegetation and the plantings settled out at that point.
But we already have an enforcement order doing that.
What is it?
We already have an issued.
No.
No,
No.
we haven't,
No, you haven't.
no.
No.
I've been very
So-
patient.
I see.
So that's what I'm saying. So if the commission wants to do the orders for the house, you can, and then you issue an enforcement order for the plantings.
So that would take part of the problem away, and then we would deal separately with the second part.
Right. Yep.
Because this is just going on too long.
Right, I mean, I just want to move along and get everybody happy
Okay,
again.
so let's just look quickly with a time frame for the,
So as,
going to do with an enforcement order, and you know what that's going to be.
So,
To
yeah.
restore, you're going to come up with a plan
we basically have about
remove,
3 months
sit
to
and
come up with
fill
a plan
or to
before
plant.
springtime. Because we need to work out the kinks on the plan, so by this first planting season, come April, that we're in agreement with what's going in to be planted, and we can get the first growing season in for the spring.
Okay, what I would like to see, though, is that this be approved, let's say, by January, no later than February, so that when planting season comes, you're ready to go.
Oh, yeah, I want it approved as soon as possible, so that way when planting season hits, we're ready to plant. Because more than likely, we're gonna have to order a lot of these plants, and like now, so we get them for the spring. Because the way you're getting materials nowadays, we just had another property that we were working on. We're looking to get 30 trees, and we can't get them till the middle of next year. So I want to get whatever we have to for plantings, order them, so that way I know come March, they're in.
JP could get it for me. He could get it for him.
Well, you know, I
Inside
have my
joke.
own shovel, and I
Inside-
do a lot of walking out
Inside
in the woods.
joke.
No, that wasn't serious.
Sure, he doesn't
So I have a
appreciate it.
question for you. How about the compost that's partially in the wetland? What are you doing with that?
So that a lot of that compost that'll be removed from that. That's gonna get removed.
Where were you planning on bringing it?
Well, the comp.
Off-site or on-site somewhere?
back right one was the original.
Why don't we issue an order of conditions for the house?
Okay, okay. Is there any comments from the audience? Is there a motion one way or another
I'll make a motion, we issue an order of conditions for the building.
for the house only? And
So we need a plan, I need a plan to my office by next Tuesday that just shows the house, and you gotta send it to DEP too, okay?
Yep.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we got part of it settled.
We have, and now we can work with you with the plantings to make it all worthwhile.
You're smiling.
It's been a
Okay.
long night. I've come from Taunton with 2 other hearings. I had to ask them to put them up at the front so I could get here on time.
Can you get it to me by Tuesday, or do you want it, you wanna get it to me by Monday, a week from Monday?
No, we can do it for Tuesday.
Sure?
I'll be working on it this weekend.
So, okay, so Tuesday,
Yep.
that's the,
The house only.
house, thank you, 22nd.
Okay,
So,
Thank you.
if I'm not in my office, because I'm in the field a lot, leave it with the Board of Selectmen's
We're gonna leave
office.
it in an envelope out there at the door, so if it
But
gets wet, it's on you.
Send me an email so I know you did,
Yeah,
all
will do.
right?
Yep.
And I have 21 days to issue the orders.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Okay, we have a notice of intent from Rachel Andrade, Elm Street, Dayton, to construct a single-family dwelling and all associated grading and utilities within the buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I have 2 additional color copies.
Okay. Okay, we can, you got a couple anyway, so we can stretch one here and, okay, David, can you, rubberneck? Okay, here's the,
How about a street?
this is the 100-foot zone, I think, here and here.
Usually that's north.
So they're outside of the 100-foot.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, right here.
25 no touches here. I think that's the 25, no, 50.
Right there.
That's 50. 25 is, okay.
Okay.
That's
I
what,
know where you are.
okay.
Let me see that again.
So the commission saw this plan when,
That's
like,
the Somerset.
September?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a Somerset Road.
So we did see this plan in September, and since then, go ahead, you just give them the rundown.
I'll just start my spiel from the top.
Okay.
My name is Jack Tabares from Farlandcorp.
I'm sorry,
What is that?
Jack Tabares from Farlandcorp.
Jack
Yes.
North?
North Street, yeah.
Maz,
Okay.
spell it.
And she's on the other side of the
Tabares.
street.
Yeah.
Okay. I know where.
Project's located at 2878 Elm Street. Property is approximately 6.9 acres in area and is abutted by residential lots on all sides. There is a wetland resource area to the west of it, and it's approximately 170 feet from the street. The project is to construct a new 4-bedroom, single-family dwelling with a septic system. The existing house, barn, shed, and outhouse are all to be demolished. All proposed work is to be done outside of the 50-foot wetland buffer, except for the removal of the shed and the construction of the new well. All the septic components are outside of the 100-foot buffer zone, and all erosion control measures do encompass the limit of work on the north, west, and south side of the property, and on the east as well near the road. The colors that you see on the plan, the 3 blue circles are the 100-foot wetland radiuses. The green line is the bordering vegetated wetland. The light blue is the 25-foot no-touch. The yellow is the 50, and the orange is the 100-foot wetland buffer. I can answer any questions you may have.
They just nick it, don't they?
Right there.
Okay.
Mine's not highlighted.
Well, this one.
Yeah, can I get one that is? You don't have to take it off, it's okay.
What's this red one?
Well, I can always, I'm gonna grab one.
What do you think?
This is the other wells, yeah, across the street. So yeah, this is the only work inside the 50 is the proposed well and the removal of the shed that I talked about on site.
The lawn area gonna stay the same?
Yeah, it should.
Lisa, this would be an area to put up signs for,
Yeah, so we could incorporate the 25-foot no-touch signs there on
Sure.
that project. As part of the order, we've been doing that. So I guess they just have to figure out if they'd want to use, what they'd want to use on the 25-foot for those signs. If you wanted to talk to them, some people like posts, some people want a fence. So the situation here is, though, we would be taking away existing lawn if we did that.
Right, but your bylaw says 25-foot no touch, so
Yeah. So, and it would really only go over to like through where the shed is, and then it goes off-site, so the rest of it would all be lawn.
right.
So I don't know if you wanna talk to them and see what they want, if they wanna do a fence or posts or whatnot. And then just, we'll have one more plan from you that shows that,
Yeah, could
exactly.
we, if it does get approved tonight, conditionally approved pending the revised plans?
Yeah,
Okay.
any questions, guys? Jack?
No, so,
Dave? Charlie? Any comments from the, or questions from the audience? Okay, is there a motion on from the floor?
I just need one copy of the, and an email.
Yeah, I'll send you an email first, discuss it.
Sound
I'm waiting for a motion from
Oh.
some,
Make a motion that we accept the notice of intent for the project on Elm Street.
Okay, and, okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a notice of intent by Thomas and Nicole Santos, Smith Street, single-family home and associated amenities, including septic system, garage, grading and disturbance within the buffer zone. The engineer Outback Engineering has requested a continuance to 12/15. Is there a motion to continue?
And make a motion, we continue the hearing on Smith Street till, December 15th.
second?
Just a little information before you vote, just so you know why. I guess the perks that were out there were old, so the health agent requested new perks. And that's what's happening.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, we have a hearing, notice of intent from the Dayton Water District to establish a new well within the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland off Cedar Street. The legal ad for this project has been taken care of. Lisa, we dealt with that, if you want to inform the audience.
Yeah. So, we reviewed this at our meeting last month. We reviewed the same project, but the problem was DEP, we found out later when I was about to issue the order, that DEP was never CC'd on the filing, so we had to start back at square one.
Okay,
So we have a file number now,
Woohoo.
which you were included on, it would be.
Yeah,
So I'm
so do you
Keith
wanna,
Black with
can you
Environmental
read
Partners.
read it out loud for
Yep,
us?
yeah, it's SC,
Yeah.
SE 017-0471.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this, the well's already been installed and permitted, that process has been through. The intent of this project is just to pipe with underground utilities, electric and water to bring the well to the distribution system that will go up to the treatment plant. The conditions at the site are gonna go back to the same, all grass area will be seeded, the gravelled area will be back to a gravel driveway, and we're not intending any changes. There'll be some modifications to the building and site interior, but that's it.
Same thing we heard last month.
Yep.
okay. Any questions? I think you guys are all set with it.
Yeah.
Any comments from the audience? Is there a motion to accept and to issue an order of conditions?
Make a motion to accept, notice of intent for the Water District.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much, have a good evening.
Thank you.
That was 17-471? Is that what you said for the file number?
Yeah, so,
0471.
yeah,
Okay.
0471.
I do have a question. Should I plan on you picking up the order, or do you want me to mail it? I might not have it done until not this coming week, because it's only a 2-day work week for us.
Yeah, I think you can mail it. I don't think we'll be
Yeah.
in a rush to get it because, everything's just gonna wrap with that. So.
Yeah, so just let me know who to mail it to, okay?
Okay, I'll send you an email.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, we have a new hearing, Brenda Highland, Park Street, for the construction of a new septic system in the riverfront area and land subject to coastal flooding. Is this a notice of intent?
Yep.
Okay, And the file number?
Did you get a file number yet, Bob? Yeah.
170472.
Ah, okay.
No comments from DEP. Okay, Bob Barabee, Proline Engineering, representing the applicant. This is a septic system repair. It's an existing two-bedroom dwelling. It will stay a two-bedroom dwelling. We prepared a deed restriction for the Board of Health. That's been submitted to them. What we're proposing to do is pick up the plumbing that's under a crawl space, a very shallow crawl space under the house. It's on the southern side. So we're gonna pick up the plumbing at that point, carry the pipe between an existing shed, which is on a concrete pad, and the deck that's in the backyard, and install a Fuji system, which is an advanced wastewater treatment system. It's a package system. It's called the CEN5. The N stands for nitrogen reduction.
Oh, stop for a minute. Oh, okay.
Do you have any
Here, why don't you
copies
take
of
that down?
Just mine.
I got it. Okay.
I know the lot.
Wanna see this one?
We'll give it back to you, or we can sell it.
So this is a very tight lot. This is Park Avenue.
Yeah.
This is the house, like this. There's a deck in the backyard that faces the Taunton River. There's a retaining wall in the back of the property, which I'm showing with the blue line. There's the septic system right now, there's no record of what's out there for a septic system. But we know the plumbing comes under a crawl space out the back, the side of the house, yeah. This is a shed, and it's a shed that's built on an actual foundation. So it's not something you just pick up and move. So what we're proposing to do is bring the plumbing out from under the house, below ground, come out here to where it's comfortable to put in this treatment system. It's a Fuji, it's similar to Advantax, Singulair, any of the new advanced treatment systems. This one also that we're designing.
Wait, how does this treatment work? Is it non-chemical, or is it?
No chemicals. What happens is it's all through filtration and sedimentation basins. It goes in on the second page, the drawing. This is their drawing, but it goes in to the tank, and the first tank takes all the sludge that comes out of the sludge and grease and all that. Then it travels into the second compartment.
What travels in the
The cleaner water, yeah.
Okay.
Was remain, all the thick stuff ends up in here.
Okay,
The second one is the treatment system. And then it goes into this final tank, and that tank, it splits it, and it returns it back. So through this process, it keeps going through this system, and then a portion of it is discharged, in this case, to the pump station, and then that goes out to a bottomless sand filter.
The pump station in this,
No, this is handled by a blower, which is mounted to the side of the house, and it blows air in, which brings up the water, and then it travels from a pipe into a pump station. And that's located also right here. So it's gonna come into this food tank.
How big is that tank?
That tank's about 7, a little more than 7, I get the details.
Little more than
Seven
what?
Feet.
Okay.
How many gallons?
It can handle up to a 5-bedroom house, and this is a 2-bedroom. So the tank itself is, it's almost 8 feet from beginning to end, 7 feet, 10 3/4 inches. And then the width is about 4 feet wide.
So now, is this whole thing the tank right here?
This is all the tank here.
Okay,
It comes as one unit, it's all put together on.
And it's just dropped into place.
Yeah, and they just dig the excavation, they bring it in, they connect the pipe in and connect the pipe out.
Okay, so
And then
now,
the blower pipe gets.
now, you said that there's fans blowing over
Not
the
fans.
water.
Yeah, it's not fans, it's bubbles. There's a blower
Okay.
that blows the bubbles into the.
Now, is that for evaporation
It's
purposes?
for recirculation purposes. If the blowing of the
So
bubbles.
so it doesn't go to
brings
the outside,
up-
it
It's
goes,
all contained inside.
okay,
And there's 3 separate sealed covers on top of the tank, one for each chamber. These 2 are
okay, for
18
maintenance or
Yeah,
whatever. Now,
yeah.
how often does that first tank have to be cleaned
The
as the
first
solids?
tank has to be cleaned just like a normal septic tank. 2 to 3 years, they recommend you check it and see how the buildup of the sludge is. Because of the treatment process, it doesn't generate as much sludge as a standard septic tank. Because it keeps
Okay,
going
so,
through the
so it's a
process.
private treatment plant then?
Basically, it is, yeah. Any of these advanced treatment systems are that, and they
Okay.
they pretty much make them maintenance-free. You do have a maintenance contract with this, but it's not something the homeowner's gonna go in there and start turning valves and things of that nature. There's a couple of dials in there where you set them, and that regulates how the flow comes out of the tank. That's all done during the startup, and then the system works from that. These have been very common in Rhode Island, and they're now.
I never heard of one of these yet.
Yeah.
Is this your first one to
No,
install?
we've done 3 in Swansea and a couple in Westport. Westport likes them, Swansea likes them. So this is probably about the 6th or 7th that we've done in Massachusetts. But my
Okay.
engineer that I work with.
I find this very interesting,
is-
to see a personal treatment plant.
Yeah, and this one, there's even nitrogen reduction, and we chose that because we're right near the top of the river. So if you're near like an environmentally sensitive area, this is definitely a good thing to use. And the cost is very reasonable for this, so.
When you say you mean the cost of running it or buying it?
Even running it, if the blower uses minimal amounts of electricity to run, it does run continuous because it blows the air through there, but you can't, I think the decibels are like 37 decibels, it's very quiet, so it's not something you would hear unless you open it up.
This is the second tank,
Yeah, this is the pump chamber.
the one behind the
So
house.
that's, going behind the house. So I'll show you on the first page, you can see where that's gonna be placed. Because of the room, so it's gonna be tank, pump chamber, and then from there, we're gonna pump it, force main it up to the front yard, and that's gonna go into a bottomless sand filter in the front yard, to keep this as far away from the resource area that we can.
Yeah,
Very
okay.
tight site, but because, again, of the advanced treatment system, we were able to use a smaller system because the water quality is so much better than a standard system.
Okay, I'm going to write down, what is the name of that system?
It's called Fuji.
Like the apple.
Fuji?
Yeah, F-U-J-I. Clean is the company, Fuji Clean USA, and this particular model is a CEN5.
I'm sorry?
C. as in
C, oh,
Charles.
C, letter C.
As in Charles, CEN5. And the N is for nitrogen reduction. There's a lot of stuff online.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they're nice. And the installers like them, the Board of Health. This is, I think, the first one, Todd, I spent a little bit of time with the Board of Health agent going through the process because he hasn't reviewed any of these yet.
Now, compared to systems that are, let's say, my backyard, I mean, I have town sewer, but if I had to replace one and they had to dig up everything, you'd need the tank, septic tank, you'd need the big leaching field, probably $20,000, 15,
Yeah,
and,
they all range. This is gonna be comparable in that cost when you take into account the reduction in the size of the leaching field.
okay.
So there's naturally more money for the Fuji system than for a regular septic tank.
Oh, yeah, I can see that, yeah.
And then you'd have to put a blower, and then you've you've got a pump chamber where some systems require pump chambers, some do not.
Oh, the pump chambers, because you're pumping it way up
Yeah,
here.
because we have to send it up to the.
Yeah.
If there was room back here, you wouldn't need that.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, so we just did one that was just a Fuji into a gravity system, and that was in Swansea at Ocean Grove. Similar situation with Ocean Grove,
Yeah.
the water behind us,
Tight,
it was on
yes.
Bluff Avenue.
Yeah.
So it's right there on the water.
I saw that one.
Did you? Yeah. Titan also. Bayless.
Very, very interesting.
You know, the houses are pretty close together in Ocean Grove.
Oh, yeah.
The backyards of the cellar, just like this house, you know, this house, the backyard is the place to be, so with these things, to grade, that works out nice also. Keeps the backyard looking like it does.
Yeah, okay. Any questions? Over here, Dave, do you have any? Charlie? Question from someone in the audience. Yes, ma'am, your name?
Maggie Claire, Park Ave.
Can you wanna come up?
Can I look at the?
Yes.
Sure. Why don't you let her look at this here? Why don't you put it on the table so anyone can see it?
She wants to know what you consider the front yard.
Just where the street is. This is the street. This is the
Lenny.
lot.
I want to talk to you later.
Fence.
Later. I want to talk to you later. Later.
And it's going right here.
So
the leach would be
up towards the front?
Yeah, this is the driveway, right here. This is the tree.
I saw that one he's referring
Water
to.
service comes in pretty much.
Swansea.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's a repair, so maybe it'll stay 11 feet away.
Anytime you're dealing with shit, it's interesting, Jim.
Yeah, but when the guy that has it,
In the town.
you hang around and when that bubble goes through, he said, listen to my septic tank flat.
As opposed to like,
Oh, is that right? It does. Is it loud? No.
No, it's a bubble breaking.
so it's a two-bedroom.
Okay, that,
Picture of it
but
if you want to.
that gas has got to go somewhere. That gas goes into the atmosphere. So no smell?
No,
It's gonna be about a foot and a half.
it's all recycled and chewed
So
up.
it'll be behind, it won't be as high as the fence.
Might be a good spot to have a garden.
But it'll be like a box, and then on top of it, you'll see like a piece of.
So how will you burn this?
We're not gonna do any burning, because it's just gonna be like a flower box, basically.
I understand that, but during the digging process, because heavy rains
Yes.
could potentially bring any dirt that's been brought out.
wish I
the
could hear
state
her.
potentially want into
Can't read her lips.
excavation process.
Well, they will, the contractor, whoever, I'm not sure who they chose to install this system, but it would have to be somebody who's put systems in like this before. We gave them names of several, but it would be up to them to make sure, first of all, that they don't put this system in. That can be installed in probably a day.
Yeah, but you gotta
The
take
box
something
itself.
out of it,
Yeah,
right? It's
that's
all
right.
rock,
They're
it's
gonna
all fence.
They're gonna
So
remove
where's
that.
that gonna go?
That's gonna go in a truck and get hauled off-site. Anything that comes out of this hole is gonna go in the truck.
They can dig the hole for the sand leach field.
And the Board of Health
Okay.
sees the bottom of the hole, then.
Is there, while they're talking, is there anyone else that has questions on this?
Bring that up to grade, because we dug holes in the back and it was thick. Because that used to all go down to what the top river was.
Okay, are you ladies all set?
Well, what are the setback requirements between
Ten-
boundaries?
10 feet, so we're asking for a waiver to the Board of Health for the front yard
So do
setback.
we get notice for the waiver?
You probably will. The waiver is to the street, and I believe that the street is owned by a homeowners association. I don't think
No,
it's a
that's a
town.
whole nother ball of wax, we're not gonna go there.
Okay,
It's not a
because
good
that's-
discussion. Not
Okay.
at this point.
Yeah,
This-
conservation
there is
doesn't
no-
need to
If you ladies are all set,
That's a sore subject. There aren't no.
Okay.
I'm just trying to move things along.
You may get notified, I'm not sure how the Board of Health handles the notification. Definitely, the abutter that we're asking for the waiver to gets notified. You know,
So is
Well,
it
you-
this side or this side,
It's this side.
the road?
Your side is well beyond 10 feet to your property.
But this is just road level.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
how do you
The
ask?
town would be, the town would be
Yeah,
the
if it
abutter.
would be the town, then
Yeah.
the town would be the
Let's
abutter.
hope so.
The DPW would get notified, right? Yeah.
What's that song, Tiny Bubbles?
So
Tiny
I can
bubbles.
appreciate the fact that there's, so there's literally a seawall. I double checked, there's no salt marsh behind this.
There's nothing there.
The grading here on this system is very minimal, so it's advanced, as you know, and I appreciate that we wanna repair it. We have to
Well, I do
repair it.
too.
We have to
I
repair it.
just wanna know
Yeah.
that the property is, as a butter, well protected, and when we get heavy rains there, the road floods, all the dirt comes down the road into her property.
Yeah,
So, you know, just assure that if we get heavy rains when they're in the process of this, that property is
If we get a
properly
hurricane and the whole area floods, everybody's in water.
coastal land subject to flooding,
Okay.
correct? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess we're all set then with the discussion. Do we have a motion
Some
to,
places we shouldn't have built houses.
okay, Lisa, we're ready to go here?
Go ahead.
Do we have a motion here to issue an order of conditions? You
Make
do.
a motion, we issue order conditions for Park Street septic repair.
Second?
All in favor?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you, ladies.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Okay, next we have a request for a certificate of compliance from the Taunton Yacht Club. Oh, down near Park Street, somewhere nearby.
Water Street.
Good
Yes.
evening. My name's Maggie Laracy. I'm an engineer with Crocker Design Group. I'm representing Bob Dard, who's here with me, and the Taunton Yacht Club. We're requesting a certificate of compliance for the maintenance dredging that was done at the yacht club, but below the boat slips, right here in this area, right there. The area dredged was about 5,500 square feet, and about 750 cubic feet of material was removed.
Slow down, slow down.
Slow down, he said.
Okay,
Our ears are getting old, they don't go that fast.
all right. Our company was hired to do the dredging, the survey of the area under the slips. So we produced this plan. So this shows the area that was surveyed, and
That
then,
shows where you're gonna remove,
yep, right there.
all right there.
And that's the dredged material that was stockpiled.
That's already done.
It's completed.
Yeah, that's done. They're looking for
Completed.
certificate of compliance.
Yep.
Here for a certificate of compliance.
Yep.
Okay,
So part of the order of conditions was that we produce this plan certifying that the work was complete, as it was permitted. And, before we can dispose or get rid of this material in the stockpile, we have to come in front of you for the certificate of compliance.
What was that? You're gonna stockpile it, and then I missed everything you said.
Okay. We have it stockpiled on site,
Yeah,
and then we do intend to use the material on site to grade, but that's not part of this permit. That'll be a separate RDA that we'll have to come in front of you for.
all right.
all right. Okay, so right now you're looking for a certificate of compliance of work completed in the dredging of the river or near your boat slip.
Correct.
Okay,
We'll take care of this part first.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Any questions? Okay, anybody here? Is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance?
Make a motion, we order a certificate of compliance to the Taunton Yacht Club.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now, as far as the second part, that has not been filed yet with us, correct? You have not,
No. No, that's a
okay,
very
so you will be
question.
coming back, there's no need for us to hear that now
Nope.
then?
No, we'll be working on that plan and that filing in the coming months.
We should discuss it tonight. You're talking RDA. I don't know if an RDA will work in,
Well, yeah, I mean, it might have to be a notice of intent. It's basically,
Oop, there's the,
what happened was that pile of,
sludge, soil.
yeah, soil that obviously ran off from the area into the river over time, right? Now,
not necessarily, the ocean currents move
Yeah.
back and forth.
true, some of it might,
I don't
yeah.
think any of that went back into the, 'cause that pile is pretty solid.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, it originally probably came from there and went, and they removed it and put it on the side.
It just, the river moves back and forth.
Yeah.
it moves
Could be
the
Bristol
dirt
Aggie.
Back and forth. The tide goes up, the tide goes down, the
True.
dirt goes with it. The land, nothing went from the yacht club into the river to fill up that area. Whatever is in there, it was river sediment.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Across the
The
way
pile
in
they've
Dayton
got
Rock.
right now is what they took out of the river. They've taken it out umpteen times.
Right, so it's stabilized in a pile, but they would like to remove it. But they can't remove it because in your order you said to keep it there.
Okay,
They don't want to remove it. I thought they wanted to use it to grade
They
off.
want, yeah, they want to spread it around the site.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a separate filing.
the separate filing.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay, so you'll be coming back, with that to request the filing and seeding of your property?
Yep.
And what would be interesting would be, how thick the fill will be on the grass and, how much is gonna be there and how you prepared to make sure it doesn't go back in the river before it's seeded.
Yep.
Okay, I guess we're all set then for now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bob, you got a question? You look,
Do I have a question?
well, it kinda looked like you might wanna ask something, that's all.
You look like a boat guy.
I'm satisfied.
Oh, no, it's just,
Just a hole, haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They haven't changed? Nobody's changed?
Okay, next on the agenda, we have to approve a payment for Beta invoice number 2
Thank
for
you.
services rendered from 10/1/22 to 10/28 at Briggs Street in the amount of $449.90.
make a motion that we, take Beta,
Jack, hang on just a second.
what's that?
Earlier on the agenda, I saw something about this project where Beta charged over $6,000.
Is that the next one? That's the next one. They did it in 2 segments. One for 1,400 and one for,
Two different companies, two different projects.
We pay this out of the 40G,
53G.
53G account?
Yeah, with the existing 43 Gs.
53.
Okay, that's right.
6,200 was for spec.
Can't read his lips.
$6,200 was the 53G account
Yeah.
for Leo spec.
Oh, Briggs Street is spec.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to pay Beta $449.90?
I thought they just did that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I made a motion to pay
Okay.
Beta for
Aye.
$449.
Seconded?
He seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same thing on the next one.
Okay, the next one is to approve Beta invoice number 3 for $1,468.52. And this is for Zeneca the work on Zeneca.
I make a motion to pay, Beta, for the Zeneca, review.
$168.52. Second.
All in favor?
Now we get into the meat of the subject.
Okay, Lisa.
Yes.
Do you have,
Oh, you need
It's all yours.
Okay. One sec. Sorry, I was organizing things here. All right. All right. 0 Horton Street enforcement order. There has been no restoration to date. I do know that the health agent allowed them through the rear of the property, this is Mr. Ribeiro's site, to do some perks. They stayed outside the 100-foot buffer zone, and all the perks failed. So I do know that.
Bad news.
okay.
2050 Horton Street. I was able to speak with Mr. Brimmer this week, and he has told me he's going to potentially hire Brandon Fanoff, and Brandon and I are going to go out and look at his stream crossing, and he's going to determine if he wants to keep it as a temporary structure or remove it. If he's going to keep it, he's going to get it permitted as a temporary structure. If he's going to remove it, he's going to get it permitted as a removable structure. By us.
The way it comes to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
1861 Somerset Ave, I do know that site's been flagged, and I do know that the surveyor is working out the details with the owner to see what they want to do, because I guess there's some back and... Yes. 0 William Street, this is Barrows. I did do a site visit out there 2 weeks ago. We looked at how it's reestablished. Basically, her boyfriend had gone down in the buffer zone and then in the wetland and cleared a little. They were cleaning up the area because someone had...
Where is it, 0 William?
It's down Williams, almost to Old Williams on the west side. There's some cones.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's where you sent me that day. A couple months ago.
did you go there? Yeah.
Yeah.
They perked the lot. They have plenty of room out front, but she's talking about building a big house, and she wants her yard a certain way, and I had to explain to her that if she's within our jurisdiction, she has to file with us, but she has plenty of room to stay outside. However, she might want to make part of her yard the buffer zone, which she doesn't really need to do, but if she did do that, she'd have to bring in some fill. So I said the first thing you gotta do is avoid wetland impacts, then you gotta minimize, and otherwise you gotta mitigate. So it's education. Bottom line is she still has to mitigate because she has to restore the wetland and the buffer zone. I told her that me and Bob from Proline can work on the buffer zone plan. She doesn't need to hire and have the wetland scientist do it. The wetland scientist did flag it, but I think it would go a long way. She's already put in the erosion controls, and seems like she's trying to save money, so I'm gonna help them with a restoration plan for this because it's small. And then,
Bob's job, right?
well, Bob's gonna put most of it together, but I'll help
Okay.
with the notes. 1969 Horton, there's nothing new. Oh, as far as the other one, William Street, that wouldn't happen till the spring anyway. We're not doing any planting right now. But we can get the plan together. Yeah, 1969 Horton, nothing new. I guess they're gonna sell that property, and when they do, they're gonna file a notice of intent to do all sorts of different things. They're gonna need a septic system upgrade and some different things. I've been by 975 Stonegate Landing. They haven't removed any more trees in the buffer zone. In fact, they left the dead trees they had cut laying exactly the way they were. And I have two more items that didn't make it on here. We have two new violations. The first one is 0 Horton Street, map 10, lot 53. I was notified by the DPW that there's a potential violation. That lot is several lots north of Wellington Street. So if you go by the church will be on your right. Just about 5 or so lots on the right. There's a large lot that you can't miss it. They've cleared in the wetland. They've got, they're building a road and told their neighbor it was for livestock. But in any case, I sent them a letter. There's nothing on the property right now. It's a,
Oh, the equipment's been removed?
no, I'm not, I mean, no structures. It's not like there's an existing house or a barn or anything.
Drop, steep drop.
So I sent them a letter on November 9th asking them to get back to me by, I believe, the 19th, so they have a couple more days to leave me a message. If we don't hear from them, we could issue them an enforcement order. It's a pretty big violation if you take a drive by there. So we've got wetland and buffer zone alterations. I could show you guys if anybody wants to see where it is on here. Do you want to see where it is?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right
Only got a half a dozen violations on Horton Street, right?
Then you go by the church, and it's on the right-hand side. The land drops right down, and then it opens up into wetlands, and they've had heavy equipment in there.
Yeah, I wanted Lisa to come up because I have to whisper to her.
There it is. It's this lot right here. So, here's Wellington, church is here, I think? Oops. Sorry. That's the church. Here, I can go up in here. Oh, God. What is this? You don't want to look for cars for my daughter, do you? Let's see. Yeah, so here's the church. And it's this lot right here. So this lot is about to be one house lot here. And then there's a house, and there's a barn here, and then it's this lot. So they've started building some sort of a roadway, and they cleared in here in the wetland.
I see, I could see it.
There's no house, no barns, no way.
No, nothing.
No,
It's
it's
a
a
vacant lot is what I'm trying
It
to get
sounds
at.
like a JP
This lot.
going through the wetlands to build.
So there's Wellington, here's the church. And then it's this big lot.
The lot, this side of it, we just got that from Betsy Dyer, 16 acres.
Where?
Betsy Dyer.
Which one? This
The
one?
lot north of the lot that's under construction.
This is the lot that's being worked on.
This is John Buffington's place.
Okay.
This is his lot right here. Which one's being worked on?
This one.
Ooh.
What?
Well, you gotta take a look at that, because I think that's the lot Betsy Dyer just gave us. 16 acres that touches this guy's property.
No, it got sold in October, I believe, to this guy, this new guy.
All right.
I can give you the ownership information.
Oh, hell, where's the corner of, whoops.
It's okay. Corner.
Whoa, whoa, slow down. Church.
I think that's the church, isn't it? Oh, that's
The church is right on the corner.
Okay, got it.
And you go down Horton. I'm not sure now whether this is John or that's John. Well, I would, this guy here
Yeah.
is the one that's with the violation?
No, this lot, they're actually building a house up front. And then there's this house which is right next to it. So they're just building a house up front. There is a wetland back here, and a little stream.
The lot that Dyer gave us,
Who gave us?
Dyer.
No, that's not the lot Dyer gave us. The lot Dyer gave us opens on Wellington Street.
and it goes to the tower line. It
But it
goes
doesn't
right to,
reach-
it
it doesn't
includes
reach
the
Horton
tower
Street.
line.
Nowhere near Horton Street.
Can you show me? Show us? Okay, this is Wellington. Wellington's right here.
Hey, what's this? Push it up.
Old Wellington.
This is-
Wellington,
That's what, okay. Get down. This is
power
Wellington.
line. Yeah,
That's Wellington.
yeah,
Where's Wellington?
keeps going.
So this is Wellington Street.
Yep, and this is Horton.
Yes, we have a lot right here.
Oh, it's on the south side. It's right next to the power line?
We have, it reaches, there were two lots that they donated. One was that one I just pointed out, and it goes, another lot that's adjacent to that, that's
Wait,
on
there's a
Horton
house on
Street. Pardon?
There's a house on that.
No, but then that's not the lot.
Oh.
And then they gave us land up off of Chestnut, way in the back.
They gave us land,
Power line. I could go to the assessors and find out easily.
Yeah, that
there's
would
a
be,
house on this lot, this one.
Yes, there's a house. How about this one? There's a house on
No.
that one too. You sure it's not on the north side?
Oh, no, it's the north side. Yes,
It
the
is-
north side of the road.
Oh, okay. Then it's this lot, right? Is it square?
No, I don't believe it was square. But it's on this side of the road anyway.
On the north.
Yes,
And it doesn't,
yes, you're talking south side.
well, there's a house on this, and then this is the power line, right? This is the power line. So now I'm confused. Is it this lot?
I'm a little confused with the church on Wellington Street, and you're talking about Horton Street.
well, it's on the corner of Horton and Wellington.
The lot that we have from Dyer is not on,
Instead of going right straight into the high
it
school.
goes in,
Okay.
it's connected.
Let-
All the way
let
around.
Lisa look it up
Well,
then.
yeah, but
I'll
I
look it
thought that
Someone
lot
needs to
was
remind
back
me,
farther.
'cause there's a
Okay,
lot going on. All
let's,
right.
No.
well, let's go on to the last one then that you have.
Okay, the last one.
I thought it was down farther.
The last one is 1940 County Street. 503, hold on. 508 Customs.
Custom?
Customs, the auto body repair shop.
Okay.
So what happened here is the owner reached out to Jim Aguirre and said he needed to provide access to his back lot. He bought it from Tony Roderick.
Okay.
He wanted to provide access to his back lot for his customers because he's allowing people to park out there. So it's not only a collision center, it's also storage, rental. area, space. And there was some sort of miscommunication apparently between me and the building inspector. And the curb cut that I thought he was gonna put closer to his facility is actually gonna be closer to where he shares access with DeRosa.
Doesn't share access with the road, that's DeRosa's road.
Okay, DeRosa's Road.
Yes.
So north of there is what he really wants to do, is create his own access in wide enough for people that are renting from him. But what happened was, I got contacted by someone who said they noticed that they were doing work out there, and was it in violation? And I said, I'll go see, but hopefully he's staying outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. He also has a 100-foot buffer zone off of a BVW that's in the back. And they're parking things pretty close. In fact, there is a bus that landed in the marsh. So that's gonna be towed out eventually, but there's a bus that's half in the marsh. In any case, I went out there and there were piles of soil, topsoil that had been pushed from north to south on that property. And of course, it's within 50 feet of the wetland that's adjacent.
That was Tony's storage area.
Yes, but it's more the grass that's in the front.
Yes, toward the street.
Yeah, now he's manipulated the grass in the front between them. It's a little, it's halfway between, so midway.
Tony, or is this the new
The
owner?
new owner. So I said, you need to put some erosion controls over that, around that, and cover it, or get rid of it. Well, he can't get rid of it because there's a soil board that says you can't get rid of the dirt. But in the meantime, I said, you need to file something with us. He said, I don't know what I need to do. I thought I talked to Jim and I was, I thought I was doing the right thing. So I said, before my meeting on Thursday, I need something from you in writing, even if it's just handwritten, saying that you're gonna cooperate with us and you're gonna do what we need you to do. So he sent this afternoon. It's from Derek Hanoud, Thursday, November 17th. Good afternoon, Lisa. I'm writing with regards to the parking lot at 508 Customs and Collision. I moved the parking lot up to allow access through 508 Customs parking lot. My neighbor Dave DeRosa was going to block access to the storage driveway. Mark Rodricks is doing a site plan for Conservation Planning Board and the state for the curb cut to further allow access to storage lot to 138 from original driveway. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Best regards, Derek Hanoud, President, 508 Customs and Collisions, 1940 County Street, Dayton. So he is being very cooperative. I don't think there's any reason to issue an enforcement order. But there's gonna be alterations there, so they need to file with us. And it would be good if maybe we could take care of, there's major stormwater issues too there, because all the water from 138 goes right down, and it's all connected to the problems on Main Street as well. So maybe, I think Mark Rodricks is a good person to do that for him, because we worked with him on 2040 County. He started resurfacing it. I told him he needed to stop, so he stopped.
Okay, are we completed? Do we have any input from the audience? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, cut the line.